Thanks, MJ. Yeah, pleasure to join everyone here tonight. Looking forward to seeing what we can learn together. I'm really keen to see everyone, especially in the Philippines where this event's run, learning about AI and Web3. So before we kick off, I just wanted to, I have put a comment in the chat. Please let me know where you're from, what you're studying, and what you want to get out of today's session. It really helps me tailor the presentation to what people want to get. And we do have people in this Google Meet chat. We also have people watching the live stream as well. So yeah, hello to everyone. For those out on the live stream, there is two places you can chat with us. One is the Facebook Messenger group chat, and the second place is over on the Builders Discord. So please get those links and you can join us and chat there. I do like question time, so you can ask questions in the chat as well. Without further ado, I'll just start presenting and get on with it. Thanks, guys. Now, before we go into the presentation, I really wanted to make sure everyone's aware of the HackNode or the hackathon dashboard. I will just put this in the chat for everyone. Please have a look, check it out. All of the links that I talk about is at the very top right-hand side of this. So over at the top right, you can sort of see the OpenxAI Studio, which will be running through a demo and looking at how to deploy with it. We do have the Builders Discord I just mentioned then. There is a special link for the Facebook Messenger chat, so grab that. There's a quick start guide. Now, people would have got an email earlier before this event to go through the quick start guide. So what that means is there's several bits of software you have to install on your local computer. If you want to join in on the fun and vibe code at home, you can build things at home as well. And if you don't have that installed or potentially don't have the laptop with you today, you can also just watch the stream. That's fine as well. I do have the hackathon Bloxy Block sign up page. So when I say global hackathon, this is the sign up link. You just create an account and join the OpenxAI Global Hackathon. When I talk about in this session the GitHub, so we do have an open source GitHub repo for the HackNode called the HackNode GitHub, and this is where you can get all the code that we're talking about. You can open that code up in Cursor, and that really helps you build apps a lot quicker. There's a bunch of video guides on the hackathon dashboard here, so check out those video guides. I keep creating them each week, and yeah, really hope they help people. Some video guides are all about installing, setting up your laptop. Some are about vibe coding. So yeah, each week we try and create more videos. And then finally, there is a link for jobs. By entering the hackathon, you can, go into have the opportunity to either get a part-time role or full-time role at OpenxAI. But then there's also other opportunities through the hackathon that I'll talk more about in this session. And then speaking of the hackathon, there is a hackathon running. There's currently 32 days remaining, so you've got till the end of October. There's a ton of prizes, and I'll go into that in detail shortly. The big one I just wanted to show everyone is we've run the hackathon in Australia. We had 83 participants and 10 projects submitted. We've had a global hackathon, which we're running now. That's got 40 participants, 24 projects submitted. And then India has finished. That's 2,750 participants, 489 projects submitted. So basically, I just wanted you to focus on global because that's the only one that's currently open, and look at the Philippines stats. So I really want to get this number up. So just by signing up at Bloxy Block, you can basically register with the hackathon. So join the hackathon. This number goes up, and I really want to get the Philippines and all the people that are building and learning about AI and Web3 into this. I really want to, get this into the hundreds of numbers. So even the people, everyone on this call, could get this number up. So please click the link, sign up for the hackathon, and that'll be fantastic. Okay, so I'll get into the presentation. MJ, let me know if there's any questions. If not, I'll get started. Awesome. Yeah, let's run through that now. So tell me about some of the people on the call and what their background is, and especially what they want to get out of it. Awesome. Okay, great. Thanks, MJ, for reading out all the all the attendees and where they're from. It's great to hear everyone spread out all across the country, and yeah, really keen to make sure that Philippines isn't left behind when it comes to Web3 and AI. It's a very exciting new technology industry. I personally believe it's a very transformative industry. You could say disruptive to a lot of other industries in the future. So AI is very exciting, and I do think Web3 is super powerful and important as well. So yeah, keen to help teach and educate and answer questions about those. So yeah, we'll get started. So I just wanted to quickly introduce OpenxAI. So this is the organization that I'm an open source contributor to. So I primarily do DevRel, also build a lot of MVP apps, and I'll show you some apps that I've vibe coded. And the big thing about OpenxAI, when it was founded by Ashton, it is a permissionless AI protocol, but the big thing that it's focused on doing, it's enabling the power of AI to everyone. So it's not locked behind closed doors, but behind monopolies. It's getting rid of the middleman so everyone can access and use it and build on top of AI. So that's the huge impact that OpenxAI wants to achieve. And just more about the problems. So currently, AI is basically taken over by 4 big companies that have control 92% of the power and the talent of AI. So these 4 big tech companies control a lot of the world's data. They own a lot of the world's data centers. They control a lot of the social media networks. They control a lot of the hardware or laptops and operating systems that you're running at home. And then they also control a lot of the links between the data centers, so the internet networking links. So this is basically a monopoly. So if you think back to how the internet was created, it was built fundamentally on a lot of open source protocols, and when it became mainstream and started spreading out across people around the world, they were able to spin up nodes that would, so networking nodes around the world to help the internet grow. And this similar thing is what they want to do at OpenxAI with AI. So it must be free, it must be open and accessible to everyone around the world, and cannot be censored or monopolized with a middleman. So it's a pretty powerful mission, and I'm really keen to see that through. So currently today, like I said, even if it is open source, a lot of the companies control what's happening in AI. There is expensive gatekeepers that charge high fees for AI, especially they might give you like free services for the start, but if you try and build an established business on top of AI, it gets really expensive really quickly and so almost prohibitive. There's also censorship, so terms and conditions. If you don't do something right with their app store or their account, they can actually pull that account from you. And what OpenxAI is here to do is build a decentralized AI that the people control. All they need is a Web3 wallet. They can connect and start using the power of AI. And that person then also controls the AI model that's all open source. They can build apps on a fully open source stack. You control all the data because it's not going through some middleman that's processing and hiding that data somewhere else. So it really does make it available for everyone to use. The part of this is access. So a lot of people here are from university, they're studying, they might not have a government ID yet. So some people don't have the government ID that's issued. They might be from the provinces. They also might, because you're even a student, you might not have a working career and a bank account set up with a credit card history and therefore a credit card. So you might be using your parents' credit card and you not have one for yourself. So a lot of people don't have access to that credit card or payment system to be able to pay for, you know, $20 a month for the latest ChatGPT product. So they're sort of falling behind in terms of access to the latest frontier AI products, and therefore they're sort of falling behind from that cutting edge of the latest technology. The other big aspect of this is there's a lot of centralized gatekeepers. So like I said, credit cards are issued by the banks, and if you have a credit card issue with your name, then you won't get access. And you can try a few other banks and you still won't get access. So you won't, again, be able to access some of these services. And then the other thing is KYC does mean you have to provide your name, your address, all of your private details to the AI provider just to be able to get an account and log in. So it's a huge problem around the world. It is a problem in Philippines, a lot of unbanked people, but globally it is around 2 billion people that don't have a bank account with a big bank. They just use cash, or maybe they're just using like apps on their phone to send cash around, but they don't have the established credit cards. Another problem that OpenxAI is addressing is currently those big tech companies invest a lot of money, so they might spend over $50 billion investing in AI research and development. And what that means is they're spending a lot of money to hire the best researchers, to bring them in-house into their company, and then they're constantly releasing new products, and they basically own the future of AI. So this is a huge problem where this is what keeps the big tech companies in the monopoly. They build a moat, they spend billions of dollars of researching and releasing new products in that area. So that's a certain way an industry can go where you have a lot of centralized companies controlling everything. And then finally, the last problem I just wanted to talk about is even some of the open source directories that show a lot of the models like Hugging Face. They've built huge, it's a fantastic place to go to get some open source models. There's actually, since this slide was created, it's already changed. So there's 2.1 million open source AI models that you can pick and choose for your application building. So that's even increased by 200,000 already. And they have a lot of open source models, but when you try and use those models and build a business with those models, there's a ton of KYC. You have to provide your name and address. Again, you might have to provide your credit card details. There's also terms and conditions, so huge terms and conditions before you download that model onto your laptop. And what this means is it might be restricted. You might be able to use this model, this open source AI model in this country, but then you sort of fly to a different country and you might not be able to use that. And that is a big problem if you're trying to build a startup, an AI startup or business on top of AI. And then you find out that there might be a sanction against this company that created the AI model, and you can't, address a market that's in a certain country. So yeah, there's a lot of problems with the current AI industry. And probably the last one is just rent. So there is a middleman. When you build an AI application, it can get very expensive. So you might build something as a hobby at home, an MVP. You might be able to run it on your laptop just fine. But when you try and scale it up to thousands of users, you start to see that you're starting to blow the threshold on how much your application is using the cloud host. You might go past the free tier, and then you start needing to pay $500 a month in hosting fees. As your user base scales, so you might have a very successful app, as you get to say 1,000 users or 10,000 users, the cloud hosts can become completely unjustified. So a lot of these existing cloud providers, they give you a juicy free tier, and then as you scale up and you have 10,000 users using your app, you start to realize that you got to pay $1,000 a month, and you might not have figured out how to charge your customers that are using your app, how to recoup that expense. And then basically all of these AI startups go out of business. And I've actually seen startups that have hosting fees before they launch of $25,000 a month in US dollars, and it's completely unreasonable. And the other problem you have is you have to pay for everything. So basically, if you need to spin up a VM, like a server, to host your front end, that's a cost. Maybe it's like $50 a month. Then you have to spin up a back-end server. There's another $100 a month. Then you have to spin up a database. You might spend another like $200 a month for that. And then you have to, that might just be the server architecture and infrastructure you spun up. But then when you try to plug in an AI model, it might be ChatGPT, and you have to spend $50 a month on that. And as you scale, the more users you get, the more AI calls. Again, you might spend thousands of dollars on all these costs. So what OpenxAI does to solve this is they partner with bare metal, decentralized cloud providers all around the world. They run data centers as a business. They're wholesalers. What they do is they provide compute. So what does that mean? Basically, if you think of a desktop computer or a server, they're running thousands of servers in giant racks or cabinets in data centers. They make sure that the data center is clean, it's well cooled with air conditioning. They make sure it has power 24/7, 365 days a year. So that's their job. They run a building, they put computer servers inside of it, and then they charge a fee for people to come in and use those servers. So that's what a wholesale bare metal data center provider is. And even the big tech companies like AWS, GCP, Azure, they have a percentage of owned data centers, but they also use a lot of these bare metal data centers around the world. And so you're basically getting wholesale rates for the compute and servers that you use. So the cheapest cost possible. And some of the bare metal providers you've probably heard of, some are called Vultr, High Velocity, Equinix, OVH Cloud. So these are basically the wholesale bare metal data center providers. So what OpenxAI does, it aggregates all of that compute, wholesale prices, and gives it to you at the lowest possible price. And it's kind of like the Skyscanner of GPU and CPUs, where you can shop around for the best prices at the best rates. The other thing that OpenxAI does to really save costs is everything is open source. So the whole software stack running on the cloud server, the bare metal hardware, is open source. So basically it has a fork of NixOS, which is a Linux distribution. So what OpenxAI have released is Xnode OS, a custom operating system. Then all the packages and software that you install is part of the NixOS ecosystem, which again is like 16,000 developers building on top of a Linux distro, and every package you can imagine is there. So it's a fantastic way to easily configure the base layer of your application that your front-end website might run on top of. And by open sourcing all of that, even the database. So the database is not some custom in-house database run by a big cloud company. It's just open source technology like Postgres. So by using open source, you avoid all the unnecessary licensing fees. And open source is very secure. It's supported by thousands of developers, and it's used by millions of people around the world. And just a quick one, like Linux went open source, and that's used. I think the percentage is, over half of all servers around the world use Linux. So it's a very, very powerful operating system, and it shows you the power of open source. So by doing all these, innovations, OpenxAI is able to deliver cloud and GPU costs that can be up to 92% cheaper than the competition in terms of other cloud providers. I've seen anywhere between 80% on average, but yeah, the best case is 92%. And then one of the other things, to make it really simple, you have all of this open source tech, bare metal data center providers. The other thing they do at OpenxAI is you don't need to KYC. So you don't need to provide your name, you don't need to provide your credit card, you don't need to provide your address, you don't have to get approval for anything. All you need is a Web3 wallet. So you can connect an Ethereum wallet and then deploy your server. And then all payments can be made in crypto, or say stable coins or Ethereum. So please give us a thumbs up or a hands up in the chat. Do you have a Web3 wallet? Do you have an Ethereum wallet, MetaMask, Phantom? So fantastic. So, a huge percentage of people here have a Web3 wallet. And this is really, really powerful. So you can build an application, a business, and all you need is that Web3 wallet. You don't need your dad's credit card to be able to start using an AI service. You can spin something up just with that wallet. Now, I'll just quickly run through what is, a deployment. What does it look like? And I'll just switch over to the studio. So I did give you the hackathon link. All you need to do is click this OpenxAI Studio link at the top right. This will open up the studio, and I can show you what it means to be able to deploy your own AI open source model and then chat to it. So this is a very simple example of an application. Let me zoom in a bit. So you can sort of see all the different open source models, similar to a decentralized Hugging Face. You can see all these open source models that are available to deploy. What I'll do, I'll just pick a small version of DeepSeek. So I just wanted to quickly, talk about DeepSeek. So this was a open source project, one of the first that was able to release an open source model that was competitive to the leading, private paid for big tech AI chatbots at the time. So when DeepSeek was released earlier this year at the start, it was very comparative to the features of ChatGPT. And this was a huge shock for the industry. So you can imagine these big tech companies in Silicon Valley spending $50 billion R&D investing over years and years. And then someone was able to come along that was a lot more nimble and do the similar sort of product from a consumer point of view as ChatGPT, but do it for like $10 million. So they didn't get billions of dollars. They were able to take what's out there, the knowledge that was out in the industry, and build a new model called DeepSeek R1. And that was a really disruptive time, start of the year for the AI industry. A lot of these big tech stocks dropped 30% in a day. It was like the whole market for, say, Silicon Valley AI startups was in the red. And yeah, there is screenshots of all the different tickers, and the stock price is dropping like 30, 40%. And why is that? So basically, someone is able, a small team is able to come out and deliver the same product to market, but do so at 10 times, 100 times cheaper training costs. And it was, questionable. So all the VCs were starting to question, hang on, why have I invested in, say, OpenAI, ChatGPT, when someone else can come along and deliver the same sort of product? And they're also, when you're a user of this product, you're just going to a website, you're talking to a very smart AI model or chatbot, and it's giving you the same sort of answers, and you're just like, wow, this is amazing. So VCs and investors were questioning their investment, hence a lot of the market went down. So yeah, that's the story of DeepSeek, and this is a really, it's an important model to just be familiar with. So there's different sizes of the open source model, and you can see here some of the details of the server that you need to run, say the small version of it. So if I was to run a 1.5 billion parameter DeepSeek R1 model, the smallest one, I'll need like 8 gigs of RAM on my server, 10 gigs of hard drive, 2 CPUs, and then it sort of goes on from there. So the bigger the parameter count, the more data and training that goes into the model, the smarter it is, then the more powerful cloud server you need to run it. You can run these at home, so I get this question all the time, and I'll go into what that looks like as well. So what we're going to do is select the 1.5 billion parameter model. Then when you go to select the server, we do have 10 servers available for people to use. You can use it for half an hour and just rotate through. You can also get some GPU credits and deploy onto a bigger and better server that has GPU, which basically means it runs that AI model a lot quicker. So just a quick history with GPU. GPUs were created to play games. So thumbs up if you play games here, especially 3D graphics games. What GPUs are great at versus CPUs is they can process in parallel a whole bunch of computations to, say, calculate the pixel color of, a matrix or grid of all the pixels on a screen, and do so, very quickly, like 60 frames per second. So every second when you're running through a 3D shooter, every pixel is, recalculated and displayed on the screen. And that's what GPUs do. They calculate huge amounts of compute and do it in parallel, versus a CPU, which sort of gets a task and then processes it and then gets another task and processes it. Maybe they might have like 8 CPUs so they can do multi-threading, but it's kind of slow when you're talking about AI. So GPUs are very powerful. We are releasing some new products around GPU to really make sure that you guys have the fastest servers out there. But when I talk about Skyscanner, and you probably don't know what that is if you haven't been flying around the world or whatever, but it's similar to, say, things like Grab or Lazada or Uber, Airbnb, products like that. They take a lot of the it could be services, it could be taxi drivers, it could be products, and then it lists them so you can see every product that you have available in real time, and then select the server that you want to use. So you can scroll through, select the server. You're basically finding the cheapest price for the app that you want to run, and you're sort of able to sort of choose, from up to 32 data center providers all around the world and get the best price. So it's a fantastic thing to do. So what I'll do though is I just want to deploy this. So I'll select free trial, and this is the 30-minute free trial out of the 10 servers that are there for you. The other quick thing I wanted to talk about is OpenxAI is releasing an app store. So anything you build on OpenxAI, you can very quickly attach a smart contract to and start charging users. So this really it's exciting in terms of Web3, and I'll probably need to explain what that actually means. Every deployment that you make on a bare metal server with OpenxAI, it's essentially wrapped in an NFT. And this is basically an access pass. So when you connect your Web3 wallet and it has this NFT inside of it, it means you can access and edit that server. If you don't have the NFT in your wallet, then you don't have access. So one of the big innovations OpenxAI has done is, people with a Web3 wallet, they've purchased the server, they get this NFT that allows them to access the server. So there's no SSH into it. It's basically using Web3 to connect. The other one is when you go to build your application and charge for it, they've got smart contracts that are pre-made that allow you to charge a subscription. They might allow you to stake, and then from the rewards of staking, that goes to the app developer. You know, there's also microtransactions where you might have an AI model that processes a document and you know, converts an image from one, you know, real life image into a Ghibli image, like a cartoon, and you might charge 1 cent for that image. So people can do that with Web3. You can't do that with Web2. So like I said, it's very expensive. Most of the time you'd have to, you know, charge like $20 per month, $50 a month for some of these AI services. But when you talk about decentralized, wholesale, bare metal, low-cost providers for hardware, then you also talk about open source models, no licensing because it's all the software stack's open source as well. You can really get the cost down for your application and start charging like 1 cent per use. So it really does open up new business models. And I think the minimum for a Visa transaction, you can't charge like 1 cent. So there is a minimum of like a couple of dollars. So it really does open up a lot of new business models when you combine Web3 and AI. So what we'll do is just decide later, and we'll hit deploy. I won't connect the wallet yet, and I'll just let that run. So in the background, basically it's starting to spin up a operating system on top of the server. So we'll just let that load, and what it's doing, it's installing that Xnode OS operating system. It's then you know, deploying the application packages on top of it, and then installing the app template that I've mentioned. So what I'll do, I'll just quickly go to the GitHub, and I just wanted to quickly show you that all the things I'm saying is open source. So what I'll do is just quickly show you that OpenxAI is a open source stack. So all the things that are involved in the server deployments are open source. The front end for the studio is open source. The back end is open source. The Xnode operating system is also open source as well. So I can show you all that. And what I'll do, I'll just quickly have a break from talking and just go to question time. So MJ, are you on the call? I'll just read out some of the questions. Yep, I'm just checking the Google Meet as well. Okay, you can see here in the background, it's starting to deploy a lot of the application packages I was talking about. Now, what I can do, I'll just load up the deployments dashboard, and I'll check it out. So this does take a couple of minutes to deploy. Yeah, so while we wait for that, basically, I just wanted to quickly, demonstrate what the App Store is going to look like in the near future. So OpenxAI is building an App Store where people like yourself can actually build these applications that integrate with AI, and then you can, sort of see where we're going with this, where you can deploy, all sorts of cool, fun apps that use AI. It could be a music generator. It could be an image, modifier. It could be a vibe checker that checks sentiment. So you can have lots of different ideas with AI, and we're really keen to see what you guys build and then deploy to the App Store. So. I think this will be ready soon. It's just a little bit slow, I think. It's slower than normal, but it's just loading through. It's installing the open source models, and once it's ready, we can go back to the demo. So I did mention there's 2 pathways. So both of these pathways, you need to build a project in the hackathon, and what it means is you can build something cool with vibe coding at home, and what the potential is for OpenxAI is there is jobs available for basically part-time, full-time work, internships as well. So you can get some experience on your resume and also potentially get a role where you're paid. So OpenxAI is a decentralized DAO, so there's no 5 levels of job interviews. Basically, it's sort of merit-based, where you build and deploy your own app. You start presenting that app on YouTube, show off your marketing and communication skills through social media, and talk about your application you've built. And that's all the requirements we need to review and assess you as a candidate to join the DAO and start contributing and being part of the open source project, which is OpenxAI. The other thing that's pretty cool is we've currently got a hackathon. So when you do get through the hackathon, you can win prizes. That's both money and hardware. So there is hardware prizes as well, like a new computer. Then once you complete that and you might get a top place in the hackathon, you can actually get entry into an accelerator, which is in Dubai, which is 1 month co-working space in Dubai, where you can potentially meet investors, VCs that believe in the project that you built and then want to help you scale it. So there's a huge AI industry in Dubai as well. And really, that's just something that if you get through the hackathon and do well, you can sort of get an invite to. And I'll just quickly go into what the actual hackathon is that's currently running. So let me just display that screen. So this is at the top right of the hackathon dashboard. I did mention there's like 14 people from Philippines signed up. All you need to do is log in, so you can apply now. Make sure you go to, say, bloxyblock.com, scroll down, and then look for the Hacknode hackathon, which is here. It's called the Hacknode Global Hackathon. You can scroll down. You can see here there's $10,000 prize for the first place winner, USD, $5,000 prize for the second, $2,500 for the third. It's running through to the end of the month, but please sign up now. We want people to sign up, be a part of it, especially from this community. It really helps justify running these workshops. So the more people we can get signed up, the better. So you create an account, you then sign up, join the hackathon, the Hacknode Global OpenxAI Hackathon. You don't need to do anything else in BloxyBlock on the hackathon platform until the submission date, which is the end of October. So you do have like 5 weeks to build your project. You can submit it and then keep updating the GitHub repo code. So don't worry about leaving it to the last hour. I wouldn't recommend that. But basically, join workshops like this, learn the vibe coding skills, start building, and then there is judging criteria to win the hackathon, so have a look and read through that. There's a bunch of frequently asked questions as well. The other thing I wanted people to join is the Discord. So we do have a builders Discord. There's a lot of very smart technical people there that can help with any of your questions. So yeah, please join that. And just let us know that you're from Philippines with the Philippines flag in Discord, and we'll add you to the global hackathon Discord role in the Discord, builders Discord. So yeah, please click that link. It's also on the hackathon dashboard up the top. So when you click log in, you have to click sign up at the bottom left, and then fill out your email, your phone number, and register. So this is not OpenxAI's hackathon platform. This is Bloxy Block, and yeah, it's a pretty cool platform. Once you register, make sure that you specify, it's optional, but you put your country in as Philippines. That does help me display that on the hackathon dashboard as well. So really keen to get you guys in there. Is there any questions with signing up? This really does help run more workshops. So thumbs up if you've clicked the link and you've already signed up. It does take like 1 minute. You could have done it on the call already. Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. That really does help, and it enables us to run more workshops and help more people as well. Thank you. Okay, just going back to let me just zoom out a bit. So this has deployed. I think there's about 20 minutes remaining. So, and I can see that 2 other people have deployed as well. If you really want to help, you can record your screen and deploy this and share it on social media, tag OpenxAI. If you do have a small student account on Twitter or LinkedIn or wherever you are, we're happy to, if you say something cool about us and tag OpenxAI, we're happy to get you retweeted, liked, commented. So it really does help you boost your profile on social media. This really does come in handy when you're running the hackathon and you've completed your project and you really want to get marketing done. If we can help boost your account, that'll be great for you as well. So yeah, what it's done, let me just run through what it's actually done. So it's deployed NixOS onto a bare metal operating system. It's installed Linux. It did it very quickly. I think it does it in like 1 or 2 minutes. It then spends some time downloading the huge 4.9 gig, I think the 1.5 billion parameter model is a couple of gigs, 7 billion parameters like 5 gigs. So it sort of goes up from there. It's installed that, it's installed the operating system, it's installed the packages required to run it. So this could be Python, it could be Next.js, JavaScript. It's installed all those application packages. Then it installs another package called Olama, which is an open source framework. It's a backend framework that runs the LLM model, which, like I said, is DeepSeek R1. So it's a LLM or model management software. It then also, as you can see, Open Web UI, and this is a front end. It's a chatbot, typical ChatGPT styled front end website, which talks to the back end Olama. So Olama is running in the background. So you can see here it's a service and it's running. And then if you go up to the Olama model downloader, it's downloaded this model. So this one is only total 1.1 gig, I think. So yeah, it's gone through, it's pulled the manifest, it's downloaded it. And it's done all that. And now what it means is I can go up here and go to app. So I've just opened a new tab, which is this tab. It's loading. You probably can't see what it's showing, but it's generated a new URL. It's a custom URL, unique. And then I've opened the URL, which is this new tab. It's basically just showing me Open Web UI, announcements because it's a fresh installation. So I'll just skip that. get that off the screen. And then it's loaded up DeepSeek R1. So just like ChatGPT or some closed source model website, this is an open source model that only you control. So when you click deploy, it's locked to your computer, session and IP, and only you have control of this model for the next half an hour. So this whole server, the web cloud server, the operating system, the model, this chatbot is yours for half an hour. Obviously, if you want to deploy an app 24/7, then you'd pay that wholesale cheap rate and get a server. So yeah, let's test this out. So tell me about Philippines. What I will do is ask the chat here, give me a question to prove this is real demo. It's not like some fake thing I've created. So it's just running through some information about Philippines. What have we got? Give us a question and I'll copy paste it in. Let me just load up the Google Meet chat. Cool, we got some LinkedIn shares. Let us know if there's any questions. I'll just check Messenger, Facebook. Has anyone got a question? Just give me any question to prove this is a real AI. I'm trying to make this interactive. Okay, so it won't know the specific answers. Ooh, what's the future of the Philippines? So let me just go to this. So it is a generalized AI. So I'll just zoom out a little bit. What's the future of the Philippines? This could be a bit of a spicy question. So yeah, so what it's doing, it's it's running this open source model. It's got the chatbot front end. It's all open source. You can see all the source code as well. It's deployed it. And now we're just asking it questions. It's in this contained box that you can use for half an hour. There's 10 of them, so please go to the website, studio.openxai.org, and you can have a play yourself. Just give it like 5 minutes to load. It does need to load on the screen as well. Okay, so the future of Philippines looks bright, especially if the current economic trends, political developments, and infrastructure improvements are sustained and continued. Diverse economy, huge educated workforce, big adopter of technology and innovation, combating climate change, so a lot of environmental students probably at the different universities are nodding at that one. Huge healthcare sector. Anyway, so I don't want to go into that, but basically this is a chatbot that you can control. It's open source. You can also upload, say, if you had some university textbook or something, you can, it's just popped up a little upload box. But basically click this, you can upload files and then play around with, say, different text, have the chatbot read PDF files or images. You can even upload a selfie by the looks of it, so you capture. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff. And I'll just quickly explain more about Allama. So this is in the quick start guide. So when you go to allama.com, you get this really cool, this is new. Their mascot is a llama. So you can chat and build with open source models. So you can explore the models. The good thing is you can install this on Linux, obviously, like I just showed you, but you can install it on Windows and Mac as well. So if you've got a Windows computer at home or Mac OS, you can actually run and deploy an open source AI model on your own laptop. So if you're stuck in the province, maybe you're traveling on a 3-hour road trip in your family car, if you're in the passenger seat, not when you're driving, you can use your laptop and chat to an AI model. Now, you might say, oh, well, I can just connect to 5G and use ChatGPT. There is a lot of places that don't have good mobile reception, and that just doesn't work. You might be in a building that just doesn't have good mobile reception or Wi-Fi, crappy Wi-Fi. So a lot of the shopping malls might have crappy Wi-Fi, just saying. You can actually, you flip out your laptop at, say, Starbucks, and then start using this open source model on your own computer. So that really does help if you're sort of stuck doing an assignment and you need some AI assistance. You can have your own open source model running on your own computer and use it at any time. And you can also obviously do it on a flight. There might not be any internet for a few hours. You can flip out your laptop and use the AI models to help with coding, study, whatever it is. So it does help. Obviously, you click the Explore Models. There's about 300 open source models here that you can download onto your computer, depending on how fast your computer is. If you've got a basic laptop, I would recommend just using this 1.5 billion parameter DeepSeek R1 model. It is a reasoning model, so it does take a little bit of reasoning or thinking time to respond. If you want a quick response model that is a little bit bigger, I would recommend Llama 3.2, which is released by Facebook. So Facebook did release open source AI models, which is fantastic. They weren't cutting edge or leading with ChatGPT at the time, and they still aren't, but they've a really great solid model. So if you're building an AI application, I'd 100% recommend using Llama 3.2 as an easy one. You can install the small version of that, which is 1 billion parameters. I just go into this and I can see how big this is. So, the 3 billion parameter model is 2 gigabytes. So if you've got 2 gigabytes of hard drive, you can run and install this locally. And yeah, once it is running locally, I've got it installed here as well. It basically looks like this. And I'm just sort of showing you, maybe you don't know about this. Give me a clap if you don't know about this, what a Llama is, and running open source models on your own computer. Awesome. Yeah, there's quite a few people. So it's not as fancy as ChatGPT, but it does the job. So you can obviously chat to the Llama 3.2, and a very simple interface. This is more of a back-end, how to run the models on your own laptop. Tell me about the Philippine eagle and how long it lives. Oh, wow. So obviously it's running locally, so it's pretty quick. It's obviously as quick as your computer is. So all the files, the model is local. It's on your own computer. There's no cloud. Everything's contained. You don't need the internet. And yeah, you have the very powerful model running on your own laptop for free. So you're not, you don't have to, after 1,000 questions, it sort of blocks you and tells you to pay money, $20 a month. You can just use this endlessly for free. So this helps when you're a uni student. You might be studying, and then you hit the end of the model free tier, and then you have to pay for it. And then you might be halfway through writing something, and then it's stuck. With open source models that run for free on your own laptop, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So just a fantastic use case. I would recommend installing OpenWebUI as another bit of software, which you can also go to the website and download. I did demonstrate it before. What that does, it basically puts this Llama on steroids. So it does this thing called RAG, where it creates a little database for the chatbot to store information about text that you upload. So you can upload a textbook, you can upload assignment questions, weekly questions and answers, whatever it is you want to do. And OpenWebUI combined with Llama gives you a very powerful chatbot experience, very similar to ChatGPT. And the other beautiful thing is you can switch out with those 300 open source models. So if you don't like Llama, 3.2 and you want to use DeepSeek R1, you can do that as well. Okay, so why am I spending so much time talking about this? So I'm just showing you that you can deploy open source software on the cloud very easily, and then you can also deploy all of this stuff on your own laptop very easily as well. And this is kind of where the AI industry's gone in the past couple of years. A lot of enthusiasts building open source models at home, they're training it with Python code and building open source models. There's a lot of companies spending a lot more resources building cutting edge open source models. And it's kind of the trend of where it's all going. So the theory goes, if companies like ChatGPT hold the most powerful AI model, they could potentially control and rule the world. But if it's spread out with millions of people and everyone has the keys, everyone can access open source, especially every country can access open source, then it's less likely to be a conflict of someone controlling the powerful AI. If you think of Terminator movies, and then other countries don't have any AI and they're sort of stuck not with the latest technology. In this world, everyone has the same open source AI, and therefore there's no big difference between different countries, different companies, different people. So everyone has the similar level of AI. Therefore, you shouldn't have conflicts, you shouldn't have arbitrage or big differences between the top of the market versus the bottom of the market in terms of businesses. So yeah, I am a big believer of open source AI. So try and get involved with that, use open source models, and yeah, check it out. Okay, so who actually installed Llama or OpenWebUI locally on their computer just then? Give us a celebration emoji. Okay, cool. We got like over 10 people that have installed it. That's fantastic. And welcome to the world of open source AI. And I'll just quickly get back to, I've run through the demo. I'll just quickly finish these slides. So I talked about the cash prizes for the hackathon. So here's the hardware prizes for the hackathon. So some of the winners, this is an upcoming release of basically a computer that you can run at home. It's very powerful. It's worth over $3,000 US. It has, all the different ports, audio, USB-C, USB 2. It has network ports, everything like that, traditional stuff. It's very powerful CPU, but it also has a docking station. So you pay like less than $100. It's very cheap and affordable for a docking station. And then you can actually rack your old gaming computer GPU into it and start building cool things and running instead of using your laptop, you can run a little server at home and build AI applications at home. So if you do win the hackathon, you get one of these and you can build more cool stuff and the cycle repeats. So yeah, get involved in the hackathon and you can get one of these hardware. I think there's like hundreds or thousands of these being released. So there's going to be a few in the hackathon to be given away. The hackathon finishes at the end of October, so there's still 5 weeks to build. Then yeah, this is basically how to run all this stuff at home. And one of the other cool things that OpenxAI is enabling is when you're, say, running this, you got this in a hackathon prize. If you're running this computer at home, it's very power efficient, so don't worry about the electricity bill for the computer. The GPU might be a little bit power hungry, but that's your GPU. And if you're running a gaming computer, you understand. But basically, you can actually rent out your GPU to other people in the cloud that want to run a chatbot, an AI application. So you can actually process GPU workloads at home and start making some money from that as well. So with Web3, there's a whole heap of cool things you can do. And yeah, OpenxAI is trying to build a lot of that cool stuff. And yeah, be in the open source AI movement, be in the hardware, GPU running AI model movement as well, and then in Web3. So There is a job board on the website. It's in the top of the hackathon dashboard if you're interested in some of these areas. So is anyone interested in roles for junior AI engineer, machine learning engineer, data science, blockchain engineer, smart contracts? So yeah, just let us know. And you know, there is potential roles there. Again, all your experience is assessed on what you build in the hackathon. We don't like look at resumes and things like that too much. It's really more about showing us what you've got, building something cool, and then you know, marketing it. So you know, build a little video talking about it, put it on social media, things like that. Speaking of social media, I just wanted to quickly show you the my YouTube channel. So all of these guides I do put on the YouTube channel every couple of days. So please give us a follow. I'll just drop this in the chat as well. Even this session is recorded. I might edit it and you know, put that on the channel as well. But basically, some of the cool videos that we've made, and this is going back to you know, way back. So testing out different open source models with the Llama. This one talks about how this, if you really want to watch me deploy and install like a Llama on my computer, you can. But I sort of go through talking about how to install it and then installing the different open source models. You know, there is some Roblox gaming and things like that. But I do talk about vibe coding a lot as well. And I also work with a lot of the Australian hackathon projects, Indian hackathon projects that were previously completed. But basically have mentoring sessions where I help explain it, how to set up your application, what are some of the sort of architecture or guidelines around that. And then, yeah, like I've built a little sentiment analyzer that looks at social media and figures out what the ticker price of a, you know, a token is, like Ethereum, and then pull that ticker price off of Chainlink, price feeds, and compare it to social media. So there's a lot of cool applications you can build using you know, open source AI. The other one I built recently on a vibe coding session with someone is a kids game. So if you've heard of Duolingo, it's a language learning game. If you take that concept, you can sort of teach kids 5-year-olds, you know, dog, how to say the word dog in English. You can even convert it to Tagalog or Visayan as well. So, you know, there's a whole bunch of, there's even an open source model that has specific training knowledge about, I think it's between 5 and 7 dialects of the Philippines. So it's like Waray, Ilocano, Tagalog, Bisaya, and there's one other, I forgot. But basically, you can hook up that open source model into the back end of your application and build this cool language learning application. So yeah, please like, subscribe to the channel. It really does help. You know, some of the top projects in Australia, I've, you know, had a mentoring sesh and we've discussed through how to help build their application. And what I'm saying is, if you do join the hackathon, I can help you get on a call and help you build, so you won't get stuck. We also do have special Philippines workshops that we've run in the past, so please check that out as well. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff. Let's get back to the slides. I've nearly finished the slides, by the way, and probably one of the cool things I just want to talk about is OpenxAI's partnership with Base. So who's heard of Coinbase or Base? Just give us a love heart. And basically, it's an EVM chain, L2. It helps scale up Ethereum, make gas prices very affordable, make it fast. But they're a huge, powerful exchange. They've got a lot of resources, a lot of developers building cool things that will help your app scale. And one of those things they've released is the Base Wallet. So the Base Wallet is an everything app. It's similar to WeChat. It's an everything app in terms of you can hold your money in it. It's a wallet. You can go to the App Store and download mini apps to use. Every app that you build in the hackathon, if you use a template with OpenxAI, is hostable. It's integratable with Base, and then also it's integratable with Farcaster, the decentralized social media network. It's basically Twitter, but Web3. So you can actually distribute your application to thousands of tens of thousands of users using Base in the Base wallet. So your app will pop up in their app store, in their wallet app. So you get distribution to people's phones. Then whenever people click the link that points to your application server, the website, it opens up in Farcaster, which is a social media platform. So both of those have a wallet built in, and your app can be mobile and integrated with Web3 straight away. And the vibe code section of this session tonight will talk about how to build an app like that. So it's pretty cool. Why build with mini apps? Traditional apps, the only way to get money is to, if you think of Android apps, they have a lot of pop-up adverts that come into your app. It's kind of disrupting to the user experience. So maybe ads is not the best way to do it, especially when you're halfway through a game and then an ad pops up. You have to play another game to get out of the ad to play the game you're just playing. It's kind of really disruptive to your experience. Some of the other things is, it's expensive to host and use. Maybe you have to buy the app premium version, $5 on the App Store, and then pay all these in-app purchases or $5 power-ups and things. So that does get expensive as well. This is just app developers trying to make money from all the hard work, which I'm fully supportive of. But with Web3, there's a different way to do it. And with Base mini apps, you can integrate directly into their wallet. They already have like, say, $5 to $10 in their wallet. They're happy to give you, 50 cents to level something up very quickly. So, that's a way to make money. Different categories you can build in. So obviously the hackathon's got different areas. There's 9 tracks that you can build in. They're just optional. You can also choose these categories as well. So Base mini apps, you can build in the games area, social media. So obviously it's integrating with Farcaster, which is like Twitter. So you can, have things in your app display in the Twitter feed essentially, but for Farcaster. You can do a lot of things with e-commerce and DeFi. You can also build like kids education games, like I mentioned before as well. And then here's an example of the different sort of apps in the App Store for Base. And there's a huge flywheel. So Base are throwing a lot of resources behind getting a lot of people building apps. And, they're doing things like subsidizing the gas fees for your application. They're also giving some for top used apps with high transactions. Basically, they're rewarding a lot of those apps as well with some revenue. So there's another way you can make apps. And then obviously they've got an app store, so they're putting a lot of marketing behind it to promote your app up the rankings as well. So yeah, check out the Base App Store. It's just a quick plug. OpenxAI has partnered with Base. They've launched on top of Base their smart contracts and token, and then also they're building a lot of cool tools for developers to build and launch their app and host their app on Base. So yeah, check that out. Okay, we'll just quickly go into some more questions and answers. So let me read the chat. Yeah, I can share the slides. I can also, all of this is going to be on YouTube as well. It's already live streamed, so you can sort of scroll back on the official OpenxAI account. Okay, we've compiled all the questions sent earlier, so thank you very much for that. So basically, why is OpenxAI using NFTs as access passes? How do they make payments like subscriptions and microtransactions easier when compared to Web 2? Yeah, so that's a good question. So instead of connecting so in Web 2, you might, let's say you wanted to deploy an application into AWS, for example. I did a video on YouTube about this recently. When you go to create an account on AWS, you do have to KYC. So you have to provide your name, create a user account, provide your address. Then you have to add your credit card, which again, you might not have one. You have to add a credit card into that. And once you go to deploy your app, you have to then get all these approvals. So one of the things that OpenxAI does, it completely gets rid of that KYC component and the requirement of a centralized intermediary or middleman to approve your account to be able to deploy things. So as long as you've created a Web3 server, as long as you've created a Web3 private key and wallet, you're able to go onto the platform and use it. So connect your wallet. You can also run the open source code for the studio on your own laptop as well and run it locally. So you don't need to use our version of this. And then what you do, you can deploy with us, you can deploy with bare metal providers, and you don't need to connect a credit card. So by using Web3 wallets, you get rid of all those Web2 KYC and issues with credit cards. So that's the importance of that. In terms of access control, we use an NFT to do that. So anyone can have a Web3 wallet, but what happens when you spin up a server and you connect a Web3 wallet, and how do you store that public key of the wallet, your wallet, into the server? So what that would mean is you'd have to store that public key, the string, the address, into the server. And then how do you change it? How does someone else access the server and be the administrator? This is a problem, and what an easier way to do this on Web3 is to create an NFT access pass. And what that means is, if I just go to, say, an NFC marketplace, so let me just load up this one. So this is called, once it loads, it's OpenxAI.io. So this is where you can see all the NFTs on all the, say, Ethereum chains. I'll just load it up. It should be showing a lot of pictures. There we go. Who's actually visited OpenSea and knows about NFTs? Because this is a bit of a, NFTs aren't that popular this year. They were popular like 2 or 3 years ago. Let me know. Give us a clap, hand clap if you've heard of NFTs, used NFTs. Awesome, awesome. So if I just search in here, I won't search OpenxAI, but I'll search for OpenMesh. So OpenMesh is like a sister organization of OpenxAI. So you can actually see the NFT used to deploy a server. So so if I just go, let's see, OpenMesh and hit enter, I can search for that, and it's displaying, okay, I've got to scroll down. It's displaying all these different items, and okay, so it's showing the different NFTs. So what these verified contributors do, basically it's an NFT that people can use to deploy a server and purchase, and this is essentially the access pass. So if this is in your server, in your Web3 wallet, you get access to it. And what this means is you can actually sell, if you were to build a business, an AI website that has an AI application running on it. Maybe it's like a a funny face filter where you can have an image, open source image model. It changes the person's face, puts a hat on their head. Very simple Web3 app that uses AI. You can actually create a website, maybe it gets lots of traffic with your Twitter, and then you can actually build up that to thousands of users paying like 10 cents per month or maybe 10 cents per face filter, and then have thousands of users using this hosted website. You can actually, because it is wrapped up, all the data, the code of that server is deployed on the web server. It's actually the way to access that as an administrator, the owner, is through the NFT. You can actually go to OpenSea and sell that business that already has a website deployed and the customers, the data on the server, the code on the server. You can sell that to someone on OpenSea, the open source, open marketplace. So that's the power of NFTs, and especially tying it in with Access and the Web3 wallet. Okay, I spent way too long answering question 1, so I'll try and move it along. What's your platform's advantage over, say, Cursor or GitHub Copilot? So I'll address this later, but I will be using Cursor. So basically, Cursor or GitHub Copilot, these are vibe coding tools that can be used to help you build applications. And I'll totally run into this, more into this later. Question 3, may I ask, what's the difference between how typical users use the chat models? This one is deployed for free trial, right? So yeah, the difference between typical users, they might just go to chatgpt.com and use that service. They might go to Grok. The problem is, if you don't have the internet, it won't work. If also you're trusting your data, so you might upload, maybe you have a question about medical files, and then maybe your family member's sick or something. You're giving that data away to some big tech third party. So by deploying your own model on your own laptop or deploying your own model on your own sort of cloud server that you rent, bare metal, there's no middleman. You have full control over the data that goes in and out, who has access to that data. So that's the big difference. When you're building an AI business and you're building a developer, building a project, you're going to have all these other benefits of not using the API of ChatGPT. A lot cheaper, infinite calls per month. It just really depends on the hardware you use. So yeah, a lot of benefits there. So question 5, OpenxAI makes these models accessible on my computer. So we're basically a hosting provider. We integrate with all the open source stacks. So like I said, there's Linux, there's all these open source packages called Python, Next.js. Then finally, there's application packages. So they're all just Lego building blocks. Llama for the model management in the back end. Open Web UI for the front end chatbot interface with RAG and the ability to upload documents into a database. So all of that is open source, and you essentially, when you're in open source, you just stack all these open source products together and build your application. So with OpenxAI, we use open source software. You're free to use open source software as well. Go to llama.com, download this software onto your own laptop, and then run the open source models. So we don't control that. That's like literally us integrating into an open source community. On the flip side of this is there's a lot of closed big tech cloud providers that don't integrate with open source. They don't contribute back to open source projects. They're not using open source. So what this means is they sit there as a middleman. They might offer you a database for only $200 a month. You click it and you install the database, and yeah, you've got this fancy database on your web application. But then you have 10,000 users and you have to spend another $1,000. So how do they get away with this? That's the problem with having a private middleman that is opaque at best. They have a lot of their own custom internal software running, and what are they doing? You might just want a Postgres SQL database, but they're charging you all of this money, which is essentially rent for using Postgres on a private cloud. So that's a big problem. You shouldn't be spending all this money to install a database when Postgres literally exists for free, and you can install it on top of Linux. So, you know, that's the other benefit of using open source when you're building a business. Okay, question number 6. Will there be any downgrade of using this version of DeepSeek compared to, say, using DeepSeek's own servers? So, you know, DeepSeek is its own company. They have their own hosted DeepSeek, you know, website. They are free to obviously add features and other things to it. But the core of their ethos is to make all the AI models open source. So, like I said, if you're running a Llama on your own laptop, it's not as good as, you know, a Llama with DeepSeek purely on your own laptop. It's not as good as DeepSeek with the website. But if you combine it with the extra software, like I said, Open Web UI as a new front end, instead of the basic front end where you can't upload documents and have context, you can install the other extra software, 2 bits of software, Open Web UI. Then you do get RAG-enabled chatbot with a database. Like it stores a lot of the context of text documents, PDFs, images that you upload, and then you do get feature parity with, say, the DeepSeek website and DeepSeek running on your own laptop. So, you know, install it, play around, you know, compare it to DeepSeek, their website, and let us know how you go. I did create a video for this on YouTube, but basically it's even with DeepSeek, it is, you know, 10, 20 times cheaper than ChatGPT, but eventually you do have to pay for it. And then you also got the other problem of trusting the middleman. So you're trusting DeepSeek servers, their cloud provider, who they host with, which is potentially in a different country with different legal jurisdiction over data. You can get away, you can get around all that crap if you just build and deploy your own server very quickly using OpenxAI, or building and deploying onto your own laptop, or building and deploying to your own little server PC at home. So, you know, with a GPU, so you can have a fast GPU at home, or you could just play games, but, you know, you can use that GPU server at home for AI applications development as well. Okay, question 8. There's 9 questions. Thank you very much. Will there be a difference in terms of performance between OpenxAI and the actual AI own service? So basically, it's similar. So all of these hosted cloud applications use the exact same wholesale bare metal cloud providers as OpenxAI does. We've just presented it to you in a Skyscanner style, so you can pick and choose which server you want to use. So in terms of speed, you know, transfer rate, latency, it's all the same server hardware that we're using, that cloud providers are using as well. So in terms of that type of metrics, it's very similar. In terms of features, yeah, you get the base open source model. You do have to spend a little bit of time or knowledge to install that. We do have application templates, so you can like one click install things. And then also there is that sister company of OpenxAI called OpenMesh by the same founder a few years ago. And what he's doing there is using the same concepts, but deploying things like, you know, maybe the open source version of discourse forums, or the open source version of Google Documents. So there's all these other cloud applications you can build and deploy at low costs and get around some of those expensive middlemen rent fees that you might be paying for, especially if you're a company or an enterprise paying huge costs for that. And then final question, how does OpenxAI ensure the decentralization doesn't compromise security and model quality? So, you know, we don't touch the AI models. They're built by other people in the open source community. Like I said, there's 2.1 million open source models. So we don't touch that. When you deploy it, you're just deploying that on top of, say, a Python backend. You can do the same thing on your own computer at home. So we're not modifying or changing that model. When you're deploying, probably the other question I think is hinted in this question is we're not a middleman that scans all this stuff. All of the code is open source. So you can go to, say, OpenxAI or OpenMesh GitHub repo. You can look at the cloud deployment stack. It's all open source. Every single part of it's open source. Nothing is closed source. Nothing is private. So, you know, if you're, let's say you're deploying the DeepSeek model on the Llama and OpenWebUI app template, you can actually see the app template, look at the code, and make sure there's no funny business. Everyone else can look at the code and double check things as well. So there's no way we can like interject some weird code that might change the weights of the model or put some spyware. It's completely impossible. It's all open source, and you can see that. If we were to do that, that's obviously a big problem. We wouldn't do that for, just social media, and the internet has a fantastic way to keep open source projects, above board, and that's the huge communities that build around open source. So it encourages open source projects to keep acting at a high quality and have a good moral conduct. So that's all the questions. Let's get into vibe coding. So yeah, thank you so much for asking all those questions, and I'm just going to have a sip of tea to move on to vibe coding. Okay, so let's go to Cursor. So one of the questions we had was, what is Cursor? How are you different from Cursor? So we actually use Cursor a lot, and I'm a big fan of Cursor. Again, VS Code is open source. It got bought by Microsoft. It was forked by Cursor, which then created a forked version of Cursor called VS Code, and it has a huge amount of AI integration into it. So let's, I was just trying to fix something up on my vibe coded application. So this is Cursor, and I'm just going to zoom in. It's completely unusable for me zoomed in, but I just wanted to show you what this does. So it opens a local folder. This is basically VS Cursor is a VS Code fork. It runs on your own computer. You go to the Cursor website and install it. It's a very AI-powered coding application called an IDE. It's where you do your coding. And then you open up the folder on your own local computer, and you can start building. So that you could have an empty folder, open up the folder on Cursor. This becomes the project folder of the app that you're building. For my app, I've called it Xnode Mini App Gitfit, which I only started vibe coding yesterday. And what this application does, so it should be running in the background. I'll just quickly flick over to show you what it is. And then we're going to run through changing it. So doing some vibe coding to modify it. Before I change screens, I'll just give you the quick layout. So yeah, you've got all the files and folders on the left. You've got a code. So when you open up a file, let's open up a file in the JavaScript website. We go to app and then page, and this is typically JavaScript. This is TypeScript. It's code. Who's familiar with JavaScript, TypeScript? You might have learnt it in uni or in high school even, hopefully. 2 people. All right, so 2 people have heard of JavaScript on the call. No, just kidding. Okay, so there's like another 10 or 20 people coming in. So yeah, awesome to see you guys are familiar with code. And this is it. You don't need to know how to code now that you have vibe coding. Down the bottom, it's got the window for terminal. So this is where it's running the application. And then over on the right, it's got the AI panel where you can talk to the AI application. Now, I talked about RAG and context and the AI model knowing about all your university textbooks and assignments and documents and whatever, so you can give it knowledge that it can respond to, so the responses are more intelligent and knowledgeable about what you're trying to ask it. Cursor have done the exact same thing, but with code. So every single file is in the context of the AI chatbot on the right-hand side. So when I ask it a question about this project, I'm getting some likes and love hearts, awesome. So we can ask it a question like, hey guy, tell me about the layout of this code base and what it is for. Don't make any changes yet. And what it's doing, it's able to read every single file. It's already got all of the files context in its memory. It's able to look at all the code functions from one file and then look at how it gets imported from another file. And then it can figure out the complex web of your application and all the functions and the way it imports across different files. And this is really important for coding. So if you go back 2 years, it completely sucked. So if I built a Next.js website, it might generate like probably, I don't know, 6-10 useful files that I'll need to edit. And then I'd have to copy paste a few of those files into ChatGPT website and then put the file name at the top of each code block. And it just completely sucked. You don't have to do any of that anymore. Applications like Cursor, also Windsurf use this as well. It knows every sort of file in your application and can answer questions like this. So I've asked it to scan every file. It knows, it read the code. It knows exactly what the application does. So what does this application do? It's called GitFit. It tracks your workout. So you enter in values for your gym workout. It then stores them on GitHub. So it keeps updating your GitHub every time you go to the gym. So as a coder, this is powerful. So it makes me look like a seasoned coder that's coding every day, but I might just be going to the gym every day. So it's a bit of a life hack. I'm building this app for coders that want to get fit. You can then share your progress of your workout and take a selfie and then post it on Farcaster, which is the decentralized Twitter. It then, because it puts a link into that Twitter or decentralized Farcaster, people can click through to my Xnode or OpenxAI hosted website and then tip me with crypto and encourage me to keep achieving my goal. Maybe I can set some goals and then people can like only pay that tip when it reaches the goal. That's a pretty good idea. So let's vibe code that. And then it uses AI in the background to generate workout recommendations based on the knowledge it has from my previous workout history. So that's what we're building. I started building it yesterday, so it's not finished. But Cursor is able to figure that out from the code. It's looking through all the different file structure, so it's an easy way to assess, what is this application, what's the important folders. It also goes through the key features. So I did the summary, but then it tells you a breakdown of the features and which files have those features. Maybe there's like components for different features and it's running through all the different components. If you're familiar with like Next.js, it tells you the tech stack. So it's read every single file. It knows if it basically looks at the package JSON file, tells you all the libraries imported, looks at all the files, tells you all the files that are imported at the top as well, all the libraries, I should say. It's able to tell you all of that stuff. It uses, this is important, so I'm not using a centralized database that holds all the data. I'm using the user's GitHub account to store their workout history. So this is how I'm getting around being a centralized application. I'm getting the user to connect GitHub to this app and then store their workout on their own GitHub, which then obviously lights up their GitHub activity. It's integrating with some APIs as well. It also knows, because it can read all the front-end website files, it knows the user experience. And then, you know, it talks about how it's deployed. It talks about the data structure, so how it's storing the workout data into CSV or JSON files. And then it's talking about the current state of what works and what doesn't. And I'm running it down here. So I can actually run it in the background here. So it's on localhost 3000 port. I don't even need to type a command with cursor. So I can stop running it here and then tell, this is another tip, just I'm sort of running through the power of cursor. I can actually say, hey, be nice to AI. So say, please run this application in the background. And I don't know, let's say I don't know how to run npm run dev, which runs it on my own computer. I can just ask AI, hey, run this on my own computer, and then it's going off and it's going to execute a command to run it. So I'm just having a little slow internet, so there we go. I just have to retry. So it's running the command. It's opened up this folder. It's then run npm run dev, and now it's running in the background. So how did it do that? It spun up its own terminal environment, and then it's gone to the local directory. It's then run npm run dev. And this is very, very powerful because it can control deployment environments locally. It can, if you try to change something, or maybe you changed a feature and there's a whole bunch of bugs and build errors, it can read all the errors and fix them in real time. So this is a lot more advanced than, say, the Llama that I showed you before, where you just ask it about the Philippines and it gives an answer about the Philippines. That's the most basic use case of, say, LLM models, which is like large language models like Llama 3.2, DeepSeek. This is another concept, so I'll just quickly explain it. So Cursor uses agents. So agents is basically AI when it's given agency, the ability to take a goal that you give to it and then create a whole bunch of, say, 10 subtasks, work through the big problem that you've given it, complete all the subtasks, and then by the end of it, it knows that it's completed the overarching goal of what you asked it to do. So when I say, build a web application that tracks people's fitness, make sure the website looks really nice, and store it in a JSON file on the server or in their GitHub, and then display the workout back to them. Cursor can take that one-shot prompt, that big prompt, and then build you a whole web application through an agent. So it's taken that, created all these steps, and it's gone through and executed it and deployed it locally. So let's check it out. Let's see if it's running. So let me change screen here. Okay, so I did build this. It is on a YouTube recording from yesterday that I'm going to publish. So you can see us building this thing as well. So this is Git fit. So I've basically given Cursor a prompt. It's then used agents to execute the prompt and built this application. So I've asked it to be responsive. So when it's opened up on a mobile phone, it's, you know, every div or card is responding to the width of the website. So basically, this is all the front-end design JavaScript stuff. You know, at a certain screen width, it splits it out into 2 columns of cards. You know, this is a work in progress. I've asked it to very, very simply use some colors, but try and keep it as like different shades of gray, make it sleek, very basic human English words to describe what I wanted to build. And then I've basically split it up. So I've asked it to have a card that's basically about GitHub and the workout. So the user must connect GitHub to store the workout. It's pulling the sort of feed from GitHub of all the different commits into this special repo that stores the workout data in a JSON file. In the commit, it's like hashtag getfit, and then it's sort of pulling that getfit GitHub commit activity. And then once it has that information, which is just a git command on the server, it can plot that on a similar to GitHub activity indicator. Who's heard of GitHub, used it, and knows what this activity bar thing is? It's kind of it's the good and bad aspect of GitHub. It tells you that you've been coding lots lately. It also tells you when you've been doing other things like not committing to GitHub open source repos and things. So by doing workouts, you can solve this. And yeah, here's the workout activity. So this is just a placeholder. This is not me at the gym, but essentially I'll be taking a selfie and uploading it to my GitHub account in that repo. It will have the selfie and some simple data like how many deadlifts did I do, the weight, the reps, and maybe the time of how long the workout took. So, you know, very simple. All of this stuff is stored in GitHub, hence why I've put it in a GitHub card. So that's one section. Another section is the AI workout coach that can generate workouts for you. So I'll demonstrate this in a second. One of the other parts of it is the social element. So posting this to decentralized Twitter or Farcaster. So you connect your Farcaster account, and then you can post this to your Farcaster feed. I am on Farcaster at John Forfar, so check that out. I'm also on Twitter as well, so please follow me. So yeah, this is how I can display my workouts on Farcaster and build up a following on Farcaster with regular content. So this is another problem I had. I wanted to fix. I'm not posting enough to Farcaster. So every time I go to the gym, this app will help me post to Farcaster as well. Hopefully I build a following there. The other thing is this is a deployed website. So I'll show you how to deploy this. But basically, you can deploy this to a public website, hosted on OpenxAI. Then it also allows other people from Farcaster who click the link in my Farcaster feed, you know, I tweeted about it or whatever, I've casted it, they click through to my deployed website, which is this web app, and then they can tip me. So I will make this its own section, so it's a big call to action at the top saying, hey, please follow my exercise goals and tip me. And what it does is people can tip like 1 cent, 10 cents, $1, $10 to my Web3 wallet. So it's a very, very simple way to earn money being a, you know, developer, fitness influencer or something. And then finally, there's an AI fitness coach. So this is plugged into Llama, which is running on my local development environment, my laptop, and I can ask it questions. So let's ask it a question. Hey, I'll give it a vague question. What is a famous workout in the Philippines? I don't know what the answer is going to be here, but basically it's using Llama 3.2, the open source AI model from Meta or Facebook. It's basically answering that question. That's an interesting question. It's sort of giving a vague response. It probably doesn't have any information about Philippines, so it's not going to answer too much information there. Give me a, let's say I'm going to the local gym. Who's here from Davao, by the way? Davao down south. Yeah, give us a like. Awesome. So yeah, I do go to a gym here in Davao. Give me a deadlift workout, and then what it's doing, it's going through and basically I can ask it questions like, give me a new workout. If you look at the vibe coding session from yesterday's workshop, we actually created this workout coach, which will generate the AI workout for you and show you what it looks like. So instead of, this is a problem from yesterday's workshop, you know, I don't want to read this crap in the gym. It's like not formatted, it's hard to read. It tells me do a warm-up, do 4 sets of 3 reps of deadlift, and then do some treadmill, blah, 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 blah. So it's all in this big unformatted block of text, not very good. So yesterday, we came up with this idea. So create a button that generates a workout based on my previous workout data. So eventually you could do stuff like focus on deadlifts or legs, and then it will create a workout for that. And what it's doing, it's looking through the CSV data or the JSON file data, sorry. It's looking at my workout history, where I'm at, what my reps and weight is, and then it's able to scan that data and then come up with the next workout. So this is a perfect use case for big LLM models. They essentially are giant pattern recognition machines that can take a bunch of data and figure out what the next word is in a pattern of words. So when I say create the next workout, I've already done 10 workouts. It can look through and figure out, hey, it's leg day. He's already done upper body, whatever, recently. So the next one's leg day. He already has done all these other leg workouts. So it compiles a workout for me. And you can just keep going with this AI application building idea. You know, because we've integrated Web3 wallet, I could share this to someone else that wants to purchase the workout list. You know, I could have recipes, which is something we discussed about yesterday for fitness, and then start selling those recipes to other Web3 users. And everyone's able to access these applications, their base mini apps, on their mobile phone, in the wallet app. They already have the base app, and then now they can start, you know, getting workout tips and workout plans. They might pay like 1 cent for your workout, and then if you had 1,000 users, you're getting like 1,000 cents. So it's pretty, you know, it adds up there. Obviously, we charge centavos or pesos. Is it centavos? I don't know. So the exercises in the overhead press, you can sort of see how it's laying it out now. It's a lot better than what it was before. And this is an example of integrating AI into the application. So we did talk about ideas of how to modify this. So let's say I'm not happy with this dark UX. So let's go back, and I'm not sure if this is going to work first time, but let's try. As you can see, there's no toggle at the top for dark mode. So let's try and add a full dark mode toggle into this application. So I'm just going to quickly run through this. I do know that there's people putting their hands up and asking questions. One other thing I'll just quickly explain is you can actually change the AI model Cursor uses. So it's able to use all the premium models like GPT-5 from ChatGPT, Claude 4. They do host some open source models as well. We can host them and point to other providers of open source models. And potentially we can run DeepSeek locally with the Llama and then hook that up to Cursor as well. It's just to make sure that you can keep coding on the plane or in the province or wherever the bad internet is. So, but right now we'll just use Auto, and Cursor does have a free tier, so you can keep using this, using the basic chat models for free. It does give you free credits for the premium chat models, but they do run out and you go back to the basic chat models. But yeah, what I would recommend is trying to hook this up to your local ChatGPT, local DeepSeek R1 model, things like that. So I might do a video on that in the future. But yeah, let's start coding. So I'm saying coding, but we're not actually going to do any coding. We're just going to talk to the AI. So, okay. All right. Okay, so let's add dark mode toggle button to the top right. Let me just move this out the way. Top right of the screen. It must be there on desktop, but for mobile, make it centered on a new line. I'm just saying stuff like that, so it's always visible. But you sort of get the idea that obviously I'm a little bit experienced building these apps, so it'll put the toggle at the right of the title, and then when you squish it up onto mobile, it'll might overlap the title. So I'm just getting around that. So what I want to do is add dark mode, then add light mode and dark mode styling to my website and all cards, text, and buttons. So every single bit of content, when I click the dark mode, light mode toggle at the top right, it's going to go through and make sure every single bit of text. I should have said something actually. Basically, don't ever put white text on a white background, but let's see if it figures it out. So I'll just make it bigger so you can read it. So I've given this basic human prompt at the top. Like I said, it's created an agent that has an overarching goal. It's then broken it down into subtasks. Create a dark mode toggle component, a button at the top right, make sure it's responsive to adjust for mobile. It's figuring out that it needs to add theme context to change the dark website into light mode, dark mode. It's integrating it into the layout JavaScript and TypeScript files. It's updating the homepage. There's only one homepage. There is another page actually, but we'll see if it adds it there. And then it updates all cards on the homepage, and it adds all the CSS styling, which might be like Tailwind and whatever. So it's then gone off and created a theme component with dark mode button component. So it's created two things there. It's updating the layout, which is basically the look of the website in a Next.js website, Next.js app website. It's made changes, so I'll just run into what this means. 3 lines have been added, 3 have been deleted, and let's actually check that out. So I can click the response from the AI chatbot. I can then zoom out a little bit. Hopefully you can still see. But basically, it's going through the main file of a Next.js website is the first one to load is page.tsx. It's now changing the CSS or styling of the divs inside the website. I can review the code manually, line by line, and it's making all these changes on my behalf. I don't have to type any code. It's doing it in an agentic fashion, so it's making multiple changes across multiple files. I'll show you the layout file after this. I might be happy with all these changes. It's basically changed 8 files, and I can actually, instead of reviewing each line, I can click Keep All, which will keep all changes in this file I've got opened. I can also click Keep All down here if I zoom in it or zoom out a bit, and it will keep all file changes across all 8 files. Same for this other file, layout, TSX, blah, blah, blah. So you can sort of see it's made a lot of changes. It's added the overarching div that wraps the main body divs called the theme provider, which then talks to the layout. So yeah, like all of these changes have been done. And let's keep scrolling down the chat. I'm just giving you a very over-explained answer here, and then I'll do a very quick vibe coding thing. So literally, I'm just talking to the AI chatbot, and it's making all these changes. If I was to go back to the website and see what's happening with it, it might be broken because it's making all these changes. So let's flick over to that once it's finished. Okay, so let me just change screen. Is everyone's keeping up to date with what's happening? So I've spoke to the AI. It's made changes across multiple files. I've given it something very simple to look at, and then I've given it something simple to say, which is add dark mode and a button. This would have took a front-end developer like probably 4 hours back in the day, 2 years ago, to go through, edit all the files, add the layout, add the styling, and now it's basically added in the top right. You can see here, there's this button. It's dark mode, and there's light. Can you guys still hear me? Awesome. So yeah, let's keep going if you can. So I've just connected to my phone hotspot. There's a power outage, but we're still going. So that's awesome. Basically I've added on this website, I've added light mode, and basically it's gone through. Whenever I click dark mode, light mode button, it's changing the color, the text between gray and white to say black and gray with all the text. It's maybe changing some of the things that were light into dark. And yeah, it's doing that across the whole page. So that looks pretty good. There is this one error though. So but trying to present my screen. Can you guys see my screen? I don't see it on mine. Oh, there it is. It's just come up. I just had to wait a while. So instead of pasting the error, Cursor already knows that there was an error. So it's running the application. It can see the logs. Some people can see the screen share. I'll just keep going. So basically, there was a local storage error please fix. And I don't even need to say that. I can just say, hey, and AI really read. Let's see if the internet, let's retry. We did talk about I'm powering my and then use, but we're still going. Hopefully. So if you can see load, let me just set a data. Okay, guys, can you hear me? Yep, still loading. At this time, it's working. I've done a super innovative step here. On a live stream, I have put the phone on the bin outside to get maximum 5G signal, and look at that. So yeah, we are still going, and yeah, what it's done, it's now going through and fixed that error. So let's see if it's fixed it on the actual website as well. And when I load that, it shouldn't get that red error at the bottom left. So let's have a look. Yeah, I was getting like poor reception inside, so I just have to move the phone outside. All good. So yeah, let's refresh the website, and the error is not loading. Let's try and click. Yep, beautiful. So I did get an error when I was flicking in between dark mode, light mode, and then I asked AI to fix that, and then it's fixed it. So that's awesome. I did want dark mode, light mode on this app, so that's already done. Let's see what it looks like on mobile. So it's kind of stuck in the middle there. Ooh, this is an error. So I can't click it when I squish it down to mobile. Normally this means there's like something over the top of it, probably this guy or something. So it's not clickable on mobile. So that's another problem. I'm just obviously going to go back to cursor. So hey, it is the dark mode toggle button is not working on mobile. Is something over the top of it? Question mark. And then I'm basically getting cursor to look into that issue. Let's see what it comes up with. So you can sort of see the cycle or the development steps here. So this is just simple vibe coding example of changing a button around, adding dark mode, things like that. So this is like day one stuff, but basically you can start building a Next.js website where you say, hey, spin up Next.js, and it will go off and install all the files for you, run the commands, and then give you a very, very basic website that's just like hello world on the front of it. And then you can start saying, please add a blue background with a gradient and make it look nice, add some home buttons, about us buttons, and some text, and then it will go through and do all that work for you. And this is how you can get really quickly to a fully functioning website. So let's get back to the website itself. Okay, so this is on mobile, and I just wanted to make sure, there you go. So it's fixed. What it has done, it's put it over the top of the title. Again, we can adjust that. So what I'll just say is, okay, toggle button is over the top of the title. Please add spacing above the title and put it there. And then I haven't clicked off the website. I'll just let that load. It's loading in the background. There it is. So as you can see, it's quickly moving things around, fixing it for me, just with human text, human questions. You don't have to be complicated and know full stack development for this. With Cursor and AI and vibe coding, you can build whole functioning websites very quickly. And this is really helpful for, say, hackathons where you have to get to MVP, minimum viable product, really quickly in like 1 month or maybe a weekend one. So you can really iterate and build any of your ideas really quickly. And I recommend people do that, especially if you're at university and you want to build up a portfolio of projects. This is a great way to get software development experience, and you can talk about this in your resume, in your first job interview. You can enter the project into the hackathon, which then also validates that you built something that's cool and has a bit of traction and value. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things you can do with that. So okay, we've done a very basic vibe coding example using this GitFit app. And yeah, again, I only started building this in the back seat of a car on driving somewhere as a passenger yesterday morning. I just had the idea in my head and I flipped out the laptop and got Cursor to build it for me. So, okay, so let's open up the next example. So I just wanted to open up the hackathon GitHub repo link. So this is something that we've created at OpenxAI to really make it easy for you guys. I sort of mentioned before, you can open up Cursor in an empty directory, but when you start talking to it, it's going to create the crappiest website with hello world on the front of it, and it's probably took you like 30 minutes to do that. So what this repo does, if I actually share the screen, is let's see. Let me just open it up. Let's open up the right one. Oh, there it is. Yep. So this is the Global Accelerator 2025. It's the hackathon repo, and I'll just zoom in a little bit. I'll exit all the chats because you know how to vibe code already. But what this does, it helps you go from A to B as quickly as possible. So instead of opening up an empty folder, and I mentioned that Cursor has full context. So basically it knows all the different files in the application project folder. It has all of that in its memory, and when you ask AI a question, it can respond and do that. So what we've done here is we've built a massive code base of a whole bunch, like 10 different application examples. And what that means is when you open it up in Cursor, Cursor already knows all the information about the 10 application example code. And when you open it up, you can actually start building cool things very quickly by just asking the AI, hey, use one of these example apps like the environmental 3D globe app to build a new project, and it will know in the context of its memory the application example code, and it can go off and build a whole new application very, very quickly for you. You can even do something like, hey, take the GitFit application, which is open source on my code base, just put the link into Cursor. It will then go off onto the internet, look at the open source GitHub repo, clone it basically, and then build an application similar to that. So you can really go from 0 to 1 really quickly by leveraging open source and building, learning off the back of other people. There's a whole 10 different demo apps here that you can use to build things with. And the other big tip, so you have all this code in your Cursor project that Cursor can use as examples. The other big tip is to build up a technical brief. So this is if you go to the root or the start of the folder of the GitHub repo, click README. This README file has a whole bunch of information about the hackathon and everything. But if you scroll down, it has the ultimate vibe code prompt. So what this means, it's basically a technical brief. If you when you open up Cursor for the first time, open up the GitHub repo that you cloned from the link in the hackathon dashboard. When you clone that, open up, and you can actually just copy this big prompt into the chat. So into the AI chat on the right-hand side, and let me just paste that in. So I've got the ultimate vibe code prompt, and then what it's doing, it's saying to AI in Cursor, you're building an app for the hackathon. Please base it off of the GitFit app website. And obviously you paste the link to the open source code, which is on my GitHub repo. Then, basically it can study the GitFit repo. It knows to create a new folder and put a whole new application files into that new folder. Then, you have to think about what is your idea. So maybe you want to do something different, like build a healthy diet recipe app. So that is a pretty good idea, actually. And what we're trying to do here, it's try and think about the application that you're going to build in your mind as an idea, all up in one prompt, and then people can actually, you can put all that information into that one prompt. You can add things like make sure you use dark mode, light mode for all pages, and yeah, you can access these prompts. So you just go to the GitHub, so it's in the repo, click the README file, and then this is the prompt. What I'm just trying to say is try and think through in one shot the application you want to build, and then when you hit enter, Cursor knows exactly what to do and build that in one shot. So essentially, comes back on, and the fan's coming back on. Yay! I'll just flick off of mobile data as well, and actually I won't do that too quickly. Okay, yeah, so we'll just work the internet route. So yeah, so yeah, try and put as much context into that first prompt as possible. Just jot down the application idea in your head. What's going to happen? How does it use AI? So for a recipe app, it might get a couple of the preferences from the user, maybe they click some buttons like what their intent is, and I will then, after they click submit, respond with a recipe for a high protein meal, for example. So yeah, that's some of the things that you would put in this initial prompt. So Cursor and the AI knows exactly what to build as quickly as possible. And what I'm trying to do here is save you the back and forth of looking at the site, changing things, fixing bugs. In saying that, you don't need to do any of this. You can just start vibe coding, and it just has an empty page with hello world on it, and you start going from there. That's another way to do it as well. But yeah, if you really want to do it quickly, if you have time, you can do it the other way. If you want to do it quickly, just have a small think about the first prompt and everything you want to put in this app, and then you hit submit, and then you should be able to get at least 50% of the way through a completed app that runs, has all the things you want. You then might spend another bit of time just tweaking it, branding it, adding some styling, things like that. So yeah, that's basically it from the GitHub repo and how to import that. So yeah, please check that out. I'm just going to flick over to main Wi-Fi. So let's see if this works. Okay, so testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Cool, cool. So yeah, I'm on fast internet again. Who's had a power outage in the Philippines in the last month? I'll put a thumbs up for me. Yeah, we've got one other person, so maybe Philippines is doing pretty good with the power now. Oh, we got 6 people. All good, all good. I actually also have Starlink, so if I am traveling somewhere, I can take Starlink for the internet. You can run that off of car power, so there's a whole heap of cool things you can do. You can even, put all the open source models on your laptop, and then not use Starlink, but use, car power or whatever if you're going for an exploring drive. So just thinking about open source and thinking about power and internet, some of the main things you need to build stuff. Keep building. Okay, so let's go into question time again. So I'll just check the chat and see if there's any new questions. So give me a second. Okay, so yep, you can access the prompts after the session. You can access it right now if you go to the GitHub link. So let me just send the GitHub link. So if you go to this URL, it's open source. You don't need to log in to GitHub. You shouldn't to be able to access this. Okay, so what are the risks of over-relying on vibe coding for production? And when should I switch to agentic coding or manual reviews for critical components? That's a good question. So what I would say is I don't trust the first response from AI ever. I always check that the website loads and works and there's no errors. I also would try testing every button and making sure the user experience is good. When it comes to creating secure applications, which is a good question, you can do vibe coding by just asking, hey, is this website secure? Can you check it against the latest cybersecurity practices and make sure, there's like a secure certificate, or, the form entry is secure as well. If you're talking to an external API, make sure that the API keys are secure, things like that. But this is something that you can also talk to AI to, and it can help you through cybersecurity fixes as well. But one thing I would say is you guys are in a great spot. If you're already in the if you're already in the computer science, studying at university, and you cross that with AI skills, so knowing how to vibe code, how to use Cursor, how to use open source AI models, you're in a great spot because you're experienced using AI. So again, those issues. There might be some security vulnerability or some hole in the code. You then have experience to know that, hey, please check that everything you build is cyber secure, and it's to the latest standards, and it will go off and check and do that. So this is simple things like securing your API keys so they're not presented publicly. AI already knows this stuff and it will do that. When you're building a production app, and this is the other part of building any app, if you vibe coded an app by yourself on your laptop, you probably don't need all the cybersecurity fixes. You just want to get something functional and running, because no one else is using it in the whole entire world. It's just you, and you're building something cool for your own benefit, and maybe you can help scale that up. When you go to host that on the cloud and it's not on your local laptop, that's when you start having to think about security. So a lot of that stuff is handled by OpenxAI in the way that it deploys the cloud server. It locks down the firewall to the server. It uses Nix, which is inherently secure as well. So it only deploys known packages like Python and Next.js. So this is the beauty with Nix. It has a whole bunch of secure approved packages that you can use as building blocks for your application, and all of those are inherently secure. And then as you build this app and it gets more complicated, so it starts using external API keys, or maybe there's a backend endpoint that you've got to lock down. You can ask AI to help with that as well. But yeah, in terms of the cloud security, the Nix OS or the server security, the database security, a lot of that stuff is sort of handled through the deployment process of deploying on that secure operating system. But yeah, if you are building an app and it is getting lots of users and it is getting more complex, always think about cybersecurity. This is typically a module in a computer science degree at university, so you should be aware of it and then ask the AI about it. And you can also put it in the super mega prompt as a paragraph to make sure that everything you build is secure by design as well. When beginning a project from zero, what would be an effective initial prompt to provide Cursor so that the development process is guided in the right direction? So I did show you the README file, which has that initial prompt. So yeah, work on that. If you've got a suggestion to update that, maybe add some cybersecurity paragraphs to that ultimate vibe code prompt. The whole thing is open source, and this is the other point of the open source repo. It's there to encourage you to contribute to an open source GitHub repo. So feel free to fork it, create a PR pull request, change the paragraph and resubmit it back up. and we can approve that and merge it in. And you've contributed to an open source project, which also adds experience to your GitHub account, and something that you can talk about, that you contributed to an open source project in a hackathon, and maybe you won a prize. That's great to talk about at potential job interviews. And the other thing I get asked about from uni students a lot is, you know, how do I get experience? It's hard to get a job after university. This is how you get experience. So build things at home on the weekend, submit it to hackathons, join hackathons, contribute to open source, and before you know it, you've got like 20 different websites in your GitHub profile, 20 different code repositories as well, and a whole bunch of experience with all the different technology, Next.js, you know, Postgres databases, open source AI models. So yeah, you can build up a lot of experience, and you don't need to have a job to do that. You just need to have a laptop with power and internet, and yeah, you can start building your career up early. Ideally, before you finish university, do that. So by the time you try to get that first job, you already have that portfolio on GitHub. Okay, so does it have chat limits like GitHub Copilot? So yeah, so Cursor does. So basically, it has a free tier. There's chat limits, but one of the cool things is a lot of it's open source, and you can basically they give you the option to change the API endpoint, and you can sort of point that to your local Llama, and yeah, try and use the free version, which is running on your own machine for AI instead of using Cursor's AI. So this is a great question. Cursor is basically a middleman. You pay SaaS cloud fees for that, but there is ways to do all this on your own laptop. That's fully open source. Again, you have to set up things like Llama and then do some configuration changes to Cursor to do that. But it's certainly possible. Every single workshop I get asked the same question, so I might have to do a workshop about connecting Cursor to Llama and not paying Cursor any fees. But I do enjoy using Cursor, so keep using Cursor. Again, you can use anything you want as well. What are your general tips in making an effective product or application through vibe coding or through these AI models? Cursor, Cloud, Claude, Lovable. What are your common mistakes you've noticed people do when they vibe code? So again, not putting enough thought into that initial prompt can make a 30-minute minimum viable product or basic website, prototype website running. It might have took 30 minutes if you spend some time just coming up with a list of things that you want in the design. Before you start telling Cursor to build a button on a blank website, you should probably think about what is the intent of the website, who's going to use it, what's the UX design and theme, and just answer that quick questions in the ultimate vibe code prompt into the chat before you ask. And it really just speeds up. It just condenses 3 hours of vibe coding into like half an hour. And you can really get this, like by the end of the car drive yesterday morning, I was able to get this, the GitHub section with the GitHub activity bar running, and then like a little workout section. I didn't have it fully working with the other two cards, but by the end of the car ride, if you're in a taxi or something, you can actually vibe code an app. And we did a 20-minute vibe code session on YouTube, in the YouTube channel, with Arthur. If you look up Arthur's vibe coding session, we built the educational kids game in 20 minutes, live on a stream like this. So, and that's really just through using the same GitHub repo I gave you with all the app code examples, and then saying copy the kids education app, which is actually a folder in that repo, and then turn it into something else. So yeah, that's what we did. Then there's another workshop where we transform the kids educational app into a Tagalog Visayas language learning app. So there's all sorts of things you can do, and you can do it all in half an hour. So when people say they don't have time to vibe code an app for an hackathon, I think you still do, because it can be pretty quickly. You can do it very quickly. Does Cursor learn from my personal coding habits over time? Yes and no. So basically, if I switch back to Cursor, let's just do that now. So I'm just back in Cursor. Yep. So I'm in Cursor. Each one of these things up the top right here is a conversation. So Cursor has all the context of the files, so the code. So you don't have to worry about copy pasting code into it. It already knows. But when it talks about conversation, you can scroll back to the top. This conversation has context about it. But if I were to exit the conversation, here it is. I can exit all these conversations and then create a new conversation. I'm back at the start again. So it doesn't have any context of the conversation tabs outside of the one that it's currently in. The other thing it can do, if you, I don't know whereabouts this is, but basically if you go to Cursor settings, I think it's Cursor settings. Let's double check. This is where you can select all the different models. So let's just quickly go through Cursor settings. But basically, there's a whole heap of different models that you can use with Cursor. All of these are provided by their partnerships with Claude, ChatGPT, Grok. But they do have some open source ones like Kimi K2. Grok does have Code Fast, which is open source, I think, and it's released in the last couple of weeks. Here's DeepSeek, so we can use DeepSeek, by the way. And that basically means with the free tier, you can get away with a lot of, they give it out either for free or they give it to premium users that may have, or free users that have run out of the free tier, and then they can still use some of these cheaper models. But yeah, you can add a custom model, and then you can also point it to your own URL. So this is what I'm talking about. When it says OpenxAI, they came up with a model standard of, like an endpoint standard of how do you communicate to an AI model. So you can actually change the endpoint from, for example, OpenxAI. You can point this to local host, whatever the Llama port is, and point it to that. So this is how you can get around it. But yeah, basically, you can enable all the cheapest open source models as well. And when you go over here, you can select, DeepSeek R1 and use that. So let's see if it works. So it's just using DeepSeek. So this is hosted by Cursor in their cloud, but you can see it's using DeepSeek. And guaranteed, this is going to give you a lot more free credit than using the latest OpenxAI ChatGPT model, GPT-5. If you use DeepSeek, you can get a lot more coding for your free tier. So you can do that. And I'll just double check everything's sharing. Yep, so you can see my screen. The other thing I wanted to quickly show you is, here it is, so rules. So that someone in the chat asked about how do I customize Cursor to learn things about me and the way I like to code and talk to it. So you can enable memories and then add rules to the chat. So for me as a user, so I have logged in and I've got a user account in Claude. I can say something, this is going to really break everything, but please answer all questions with 5 words or less. So if I save this as a rule, Let's see if it works straight away. Tell me more. Let's see if it works. I don't know. Okay, so it's not working. Yeah, I don't know how to set that up, but basically there is rules where you can have custom rules for me as a user, and I'll just try and do this again. And I'll put it in the project rule as well. Oh, that's weird. So yeah, my custom rule. Hopefully I can turn this off later. I don't think I'll do more vibe code. So yeah, here we go. Always apply this rule. Master rule. I don't know what that means. Globs, whatever. Let's apply it, and let's see if it works. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. So you can sort of see the cursor settings, but basically there are these customizations, and you can edit the cursor settings to you know, do a lot of that. So just a bit on Cursor. Obviously, they're a very successful application. They've raised like billions of dollars. I think they might be getting, oh no, Windsurf's been bought out by ChatGPT or something, which is a competitor. So, you know, all of these vibe coding software apps are pretty successful. And I have no idea how to turn this rule off now. Let's, whatever. So, yeah, when Cursor created their application, they actually forked VS Code because they didn't like things with VS Code. So they do still make it friendly for developers, like the ability to customize the prompt, the ability to change to your own model instead of their models, the ability to choose. Like, they didn't have to do this. They could have just had it auto-enabled all the time, and you wouldn't be able to switch between different models. But they've sort of passed that down to this Cursor user to, it's really helpful because sometimes you might get stuck with Claude 4 and it just doesn't know how to fix it, and you might have to manually select GPT-5 or Grok or someone else to answer it. So, you know, that's a really useful thing. Just going back to the questions, so how do you import images to better your app in Cursor? So yeah, easy one. Basically, you can just go, this is just a folder on your operating system. So Reveal in Finder for Mac or Reveal in Explorer if you're on Windows. Literally, you can just add files into the project folder. There's a file here. So there's an icon file. You can just drag and drop that in Windows or Mac. So yeah, you can also store this on GitHub and store images on GitHub as well. So, you know, there's no problems with that. Easy to get images in there. Okay, so then how do you manage vibe-coded outputs when the code base gets large? Again, so, you know, every few months, Cursor expands the context. It can read more and more files. So there's somewhere in the settings, you can actually see how many files or tokens that Cursor has context over. And it's like hundreds and hundreds of files, thousands of files. So it shouldn't be a big problem as the code base gets large. Even the GitHub repo that I gave you is quite a large repo, a lot of files, and it's still handling that pretty well. Because basically it's got 10 applications in it. And I think this is a problem with, like, you know, if you're doing Android app development, you have to use that Google app, that software, Android Studio to be able to edit the app potentially. You can build web apps for Android and mobile, which is a lot more lighter and leaner, less files. But yeah, Android app development, it does import huge libraries, thousands of files. So you can like ignore, like git ignore, but in the AI, it can ignore some of those folders as well. So I think Cursor's got pretty smart. It knows a lot of those folders it doesn't really need to know about, like the node modules folder for Next.js. It's not going to read all those files, even though it is in your operating system in the file explorer. So yeah, Cursor is quite efficient with that. There is other code editors you can use as well. So yeah, basically you can provide that as a tip. So if you want to have Cursor create code that's useful and traceable, you can just say, please make sure every feature is a new component and it's easy to trace later on. So this is more of a software design and architecture question. So because you're doing computer science, you're at least aware of this. And then when you're building an app, you're not just like, build me a fitness app. You're actually like, build me a fitness app that has clean code, uses components, all the features are broken down per component, have it in a separate folder. So you can sort of start applying some, basic, organization around the app deployment. Okay, so just a quick one. I wanted to show one other demo before we wrap it up. So let me share screen. We've got 143 people still left. So let me just present one more thing. And thank you so much on Sunday night still being here. So what we're going to do is try and deploy this thing. So this is on my GitHub. I probably should show you that. So if I just go to, let's go to GitHub/John Forfar. So this is my GitHub. I'm assuming you can see it. Let me just check. Yep. And then you can scroll down and go to Xnode Mini App Gitfit. So this is the code. I created it yesterday. And basically this URL is, I'm copying it. And then I'm putting it into the deployment template. So I'll show you what that means. So basically, I go back to the Xnode manager, and it's asking me to connect wallet. So let me just get a wallet password on a different screen. And I should be able to, I've opened this up in Brave. So I can connect my wallet. I'm using Brave Wallet. I'm basically on the Xnode Studio. It's a deployment server. I've connected a wallet. Inside that wallet is an NFT, like you were talking about. This is what I'm using. I've connected my Web3 wallet to xnode.openmesh.network, which is deploying all these cloud environments. This is a really beta feature, so it is getting rolled out into Xnode Studio, but this is basically, or X Studio on OpenxAI. This is like an early version. I'm just showing you, I've connected my wallet. I've got this server. It's running in the cloud on, I think it's High Velocity, a bare metal cloud provider. I'm able to see the current usage of it, which is not much. It's basically not running much of anything at the moment. There's no apps installed. So what we're going to do is quickly deploy an app in the last sort of 10 minutes. So I've got a script which is in a file called flake.nix. It's in the folder of GitHub that I showed you, that GitHub repo. I then go back to this Xnode manager. I then add a custom app, paste in the flake.nix template, which basically points this cloud server to pull the code from my GitHub repo. Again, all of this is in the GitHub repo, and this is a little bit technical. It's not as vibe codey and easy, but it will be. Basically, the OpenxAI team are working on a way to make this super easy for you. You can do some coding on your laptop and then like one-click deploy it to the cloud. So this is where it's going eventually. I scroll down, I hit apply, and then it's basically connecting to the cloud server I've got. It's installing the operating system, NixOS, all the packages. It's pulling the code from my GitHub. You just saw GitHub there. And it's deploying it. So let's see how that goes. So when I exit this, I can see that there's an application called GitFit installed. I can see that the CPU's just started going up. It was obviously installing a bunch of application packages. The memory had a little bit of a blip. So it's installed some, 0.5% of memory usage has gone up by installing this whole web application. Like I said, bare metal cloud servers are very, very powerful. They might have like 16 gigs of RAM, and I just used 0.5% of it, and I'm running a whole application. So with Xnode, you can run like 20 applications, 20 websites, all your whole portfolio of mini apps, whatever. And a lot of the time, the bare metal server doesn't skip a beat. It's got like 320 gig. This is like a small bare metal cloud server, by the way. So yeah, this is running. And where it should be at this URL. So I open it, and yeah, this is the app. So right now, I don't think it's going to be fully working because this is obviously deploying to the cloud. Yeah, I don't think Alarm is set up correctly yet on the cloud. It's running on my laptop, so I'll just make some modifications like today or tomorrow. I only created this yesterday. I can see here Alarm is not connected. So yeah, this is basically deployed an app on top of Xnode and OpenxAI. And then if I go and give you the link, you guys can visit it as well. So I've deployed it to the cloud very quickly, and you saw the bare metal server, hardly using any resources. So yeah, you can sort of check that out. It's not fully working. I'll get the AI component working on that cloud server probably tomorrow now. And yeah, you can check it out. So I'm showing you the full deployment of an app that you've web coded from the GitHub repo that I saved the code into, all the way through to just pointing it to the OpenMesh or OpenxAI Xnode and deploying it to the server. Yeah, I'll get this fully functioning, and we can use this as a demo app. I'm obviously keen to make money from this app, so get people liking my, obviously I'll get some GitHub activity for real, like on my real GitHub, and then also I'll use this at the gym, take a selfie, upload the workout, and share it on Farcaster. So I'm going to start doing that once it's ready, the app, and then try and get tips out of Web3 people to send me money for going to the gym. So wish me luck. So yeah, that concludes the vibe code sort of session tonight and the vibe code section. We'll just quickly go back to Q&A. I'll leave that up on the screen. And yeah, thank you so much for joining for this big slog of 3 hours. Even had a power outage and no fan for the... but yeah, well, I managed. My phone is still on the bin outside. I better go get that after this. But yeah, basically, we had a good sesh, and lots of claps and thank yous and love hearts. So thank you very much. Hopefully, you've learned something out of tonight's session. You've learned how easy it is to build a basic prototype application. With OpenxAI, we look after the smart contract bit. Again, cybersecurity, I wouldn't vibe code smart contracts and deploy that into mainnet, but by using some audited contracts, we can connect that really quickly to your deployment, and you can start making money in your Web3 app. Then also, we're handling deployment, so you guys can deploy, and with the hackathon, you can actually get free credits. So build something cool, create a video of it running on your local laptop. If it's any good, we'll give you some cloud credits, and you can deploy this as a real application in the real internet world for people to use with free cloud credits. And we also have GPU credits coming soon as well. So if you do have a crazy AI application you want to build, we've got very, very powerful GPU servers that you can start using. So yeah, hopefully you guys have learned a bit. There will be more tools that help you vibe code faster and deploy as well. So don't worry, but you only have 5 weeks left of the hackathon. So please join at Bloxy Block, sign up on Bloxy Block for an account, join the hackathon on Bloxy Block, and that will give us more people in the hackathon, which will then give me more opportunity to run more events. So yeah, the more you help sign up, that will tell my bosses to run more events in Philippines. So please do so. That will help your fellow friends at uni, and I can run more workshops. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you so much. Hey, MJ. All right, cameras on, guys. Except for the people watching the live stream. All right, there's 133 other people without their camera. Oh, there's a guy with like a meme as the background. That's pretty cool. How do we get to show all the different people? That'll be cool. Ah. I know there is a way to do this. Okay, has anyone else got their camera that's not showing? Just let us know in the comments. Let's get a good photo. We'll do some serious poses and then we'll do some fun ones. Hi all, great to see your faces. We don't have a webcam for one person. Apologies. You can join via your phone though and put a selfie up, but yeah. Let's do it. All right, so let's do some fun poses. So I gotta get these ones out the way. Thank you. Was that a guy with a motorbike helmet on? That was cool. on base as well. Awesome. Oh, awesome to see you guys on Sunday night. Thank you so much for joining. So the hackathon dashboard, that's something I vibe coded like 1 month ago. So that dashboard you're looking at is something that I created in Cursor. And I'm just saying that as an example that whenever you have a task that you might need to build a big spreadsheet or build some sort of cool interactive dashboard, you can use vibe coding to do it. So here's the QR code. Thanks, MJ. Yeah, make sure if you've took some screenshots, you share that to social media. You can tag OpenxAI network on Twitter or John Forfa on Twitter. So yeah, we're also on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. You can try and find our accounts. But yeah, make sure you tag us. We'd love to hear from the community and share the love with the community of OpenxAI, all the new people that are joining and building things. So yeah, if you can share that, give us the link on Messenger. We're happy to like and retweet and boost your account as well. Again, this is handy for you. Build up your account. When you build and launch an app, you have a bigger community as well. Okay, I think you guys have scanned that in. So make sure you scan that in with Certifika app and get your blockchain tracked certificate of attendance for this event. Yeah, so join the Facebook Messenger chat, but there's also our Builders Discord. If you have any technical building developer questions, just ask us there. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Cheers. Thank you. Ingat. Salamat.